Utalidusa is here in the studio. Yes. Captain.
Lily is also here in the studio. Oh, you didn't see Lily?
Oh, but I've been here with
You've
him.
been here with him. Oh, okay.
I can't see her.
It's an invincible.
I look by me and then
you can't see anybody. Today you can't see your crush by your side.
I can't see her. I want to see her.
You want to see her?
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry.
I'm
You see.
Yesterday I couldn't see her.
Yes.
I'm still waiting to see her.
But she's here.
Is she talking to me?
She's here.
What is she saying?
She's saying something to you.
What is she saying?
She's saying something to you.
What is she saying?
Me, I don't understand English, so maybe
It's not time for court today, so let's head to the court.
Yes.
Yesterday, Imani was in court.
Yes.
In the case versus the Attorney General.
Yeah, so you remember that Imani Ghana, Professor Kwesieni, security analyst, they filed an application, a suit at the Supreme Court. All that they are asking for is that the court should make it clear that president or the executive will not interfere in the, in fact, selection and administration of security heads, i.e. the IGP, chief of fire officer and all that, if they are there, until they show signs of incompetence or any incapability of performing their job, they have to work and work safely. Right. So they want that Supreme Court to make that pronouncement. Unfortunately, yesterday when the matter came up, Imani indicated, his lawyers indicated that they filed a notice to discontinue the action. In fact, immediately the Chief Justice was not happy, saying that you filed an application, you went to the media, have it publicized, and now you have come to court Nicodemously to withdraw it. How come? We have empaneled 7 judges, have read the processes all through, and they are here to withdraw. The Chief Judge said this is really unacceptable in her words. But unfortunately, the lawyers indicate that they have refiled that particular request. So it's not that they are abandoning the whole thing altogether. So that case has been struck out, but of course they have the opportunity to come back again. So that is what happened in relation to this very case yesterday at the Supreme Court.
Was Oliver in court yesterday as well?
So you remember that 2022, the Electoral Commissioner, GHOne Mensah, and then her 2 deputies went to court. Oliver and his group filed a petition to the presidency in relation to the SAL issue, and then they want the chairpersons and the Electoral Commissioner and the
chairperson of the Electoral Commission
removed. And they say they made that particular petition public, and so that one, it's to make the commission look like they have tarnished their image. So they went to the Supreme Court, they see Oliver Barker, the Chief Justice, and the Attorney General. Yesterday, when the matter came up, yes, they also say that they are withdrawing the action. Now look at what happened. The panel of 7 was presided over by Chief Justice. Now, when the matter was called, and it was mentioned, the case title, GHOne Mensah, Dr. Bosman Asare, and then Samuel Tete, versus Oliver Barker, the Chief Justice, and the Attorney General.
Really? Are
you seeing the scenario?
Yeah.
And the Chief Justice
is the presiding judge. And she's also
a
party in the case. Yes. So
she's a defendant.
She's a defendant.
She has to recuse herself.
Absolutely. Yes. So
she has to recuse
immediately, herself. The EC lawyers led by Justin Amenivo indicated that they have filed a notice to discontinue.
Oh, they filed a notice to discontinue.
And the TJ said that, look, unfortunately, I'm just realizing that I've adjourned the case to re-empanel the panel because I'm a party and I cannot be on it. But because now that the EC says that they are withdrawing the case, let me find out from the parties. EC, do you object to me being part of the panel? EC says we are withdrawing, so we do not object. Then back to Oliver Barker. Do you object to my being part of the panel, if despite the fact that the EC is withdrawing? The Oliver said, for posterity's sake, I object.
Okay.
Yes. So as we speak...
I think that's well said.
Yes.
So as we speak, that particular case, yesterday could have been dealt with. They have adjourned for the CJA to re-empanel the panel. For them to come and deal with the matter.
Before they will come and dismiss it.
Absolutely. But let's hear from Oliver Barker yesterday after he, as it were, objected to the Chief Justice's inclusion on the panel.
We're petitioning them for their removal in respect of the incidents of SAL. Now, the panel before which the matter was placed includes the Chief Justice, but the lawsuit names the Chief Justice as a defendant. for which reason, even though the EC said they do not object to the Chief Justice's presence on the same panel, that we drew the court's attention that this is improper, and for which reason the matter has been adjourned today for the panel to be reconstituted.
Okay. So what's the next point from this?
Well, at this point, we wait till the court issues a hearing notice for us to reappear before a different panel, which does not include the Chief Justice, who's a defendant in the matter.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So that is Oliver Bakavoma saying that yes, for posterity's sake.
For posterity's sake, yeah, they have to object because it's not proper.
Of course. So
And
the
the Chief
CJ made it
Justice
clear
sets
that
a
I'm
bad
a party.
precedent.
Do you object? He said, yes, I object. EC did not, but he said for
Well,
posterity's
they
sake.
were discontinuing
Yes,
the
it's
case.
and that would have set a bad precedent in a way, even though the EC is saying that no, we do not intend to go further. But of course, the panel will at all time be referenced when this case come up any time.
Yeah.
So it was good
To
that
go into the Ghana law
yeah,
report.
absolutely. It was good
So
that
it has to be captured
the
for the
CJ
record.
made that clear and said he was going to bring the panel. So all that the panel will do when they come back
Just come
is
and
to come
dismiss
and
the case.
discontinue the case. In less
Come
than a
and
minute.
discontinue.
Yeah, come and discontinue the case.
All right, so
Interesting.
Beige Bank,
Yes,
what happened in that case?
the ninth witness dealt with yesterday. He came. And it was
Are
dealt
we
with.
still calling all the 64?
For now, the witness statement
Is
that
it
has been
61
filed,
or 64?
61.
61.
Yes,
61.
the witness statement that have been filed is not up to 61.
Okay.
But for now, we are still calling. The court is still dealing with those
But
that
do
have
we
been filed.
know how many witness statements were
So
filed?
last sitting, the last court sitting, that was on Monday, 8, and then they add 6.
Okay.
So that will be 14. So yesterday they dealt with the 9th. So 5 more to go. So that remaining 5 will continue.
But the rest, because we were given a deadline, the
Yes.
judge still hasn't said anything
The
about
judge
it.
hasn't said anything
Okay,
in relation to
okay,
that. So we'll
okay.
get to know more in relation to it. So yesterday, the witness's testimony was simple. It's dealing with the fact that when the bank was being transitioned from Bench Capital Savings and Loan to a universal bank, there were a lot of projects that they did by expansion project and all that. And he brought exhibits, some invoices to come and show how the monies were expended. And so he's saying that he has evidence to show that. And yesterday he made that clear to the court. And the case has been adjourned to next week.
Okay, so let's come back to the most famous case in Ghana now. The Attorney General versus Atuforsin
And Japa.
versus Richard Jakpa. It's actually the state versus Atuforsin
Yes.
and Richard Jakpa and
The
Ms.
Republic.
Sylvester Anemana, who has been dismissed.
Yes, he's been discharged.
Discharged,
Yes,
I beg your
yes.
pardon. Yes, he's
Discharged.
been discharged.
Yes.
And it has taken all of this twist of controversy, you know, with accusations being leveled against the Attorney
Attorney
General and a lot
General.
of that. The last time he was in court, you told us, you played a clip of him saying that he is dodging the traps that his enemies have set for
You know, he
him.
said he will flee.
You will flee
From all the traps.
from all the traps that have been set for him.
yes.
And he quoted the Bible.
Yes.
That's Richard Jakpa.
That's Richard
Going to
Jakpa
court,
walking
He's
majestically.
really dressed as a
And
businessman.
Godfrey Dame and
You know,
Sami
so
Jemfi
that
and
is
all of
Sami
that.
Jemfi.
So we're expecting that case today?
Yes, today.
So what are we expecting to happen today?
Yeah, like I said, all roads lead to the High Court today. Today, you expect the numbers; they will be there
They'll be
in
there.
their numbers. And also, today, Justice Efiasewa Sariboje will be dealing with 4 rulings,
Okay.
excluding an objection. So if you add the objection to it, will be even 4.5. Because the
Because
objection
she didn't allow them
is
to
in,
give
is in,
oral submissions, right?
So
She said she's
for
just
the
looking at
objections,
written submissions.
for the objection, she allowed. But on the substantive applications,
Yes.
there were
were no
no
oral submissions.
oral submissions. What the court said was that they were going to rely solely on the extensive deposition or submissions made by the lawyers in relation to that case. So today, Justice Efiasewa Sariboje, first application will be called, she'll rule on that. Second will be called, she'll rule on that. Third will be called. And in relation to all the applications, Dr. Kasila Atuforsin has 3. 1, seeking the termination of the trial, mistrial, and then a stay of proceedings. Then Richard Jakpa is also asking for the charges to be dropped against him, which lawyers of Richard Jakpa, Dr. Kasila Atuforsin, have filed supplementary to support that. So that is what we expect today. And like we do know, it's going to be a lot of fireworks, a lot of Justice Efiasewa Sariboje indicated that she wants to deliver a reasoned ruling. So it's not just going to be a very short sitting.
So, I mean, just to help us understand a bit better, what are the applications that are before Justice Ifiasewa Sariboche that she's going to make a determination on today.
So let's touch on the Dr. Kasila Tofosin's cases. One, he's seeking a stay of proceedings because the first time the court indicated that they were supposed to cross-examine Richard Jakpa before the Attorney General does. And they raised objection to that and said, if you look at how the way the criminal proceedings go, once an accused person is done, it is the state that is supposed to do the cross-examination. Before the accused person, the court exercised discretion in favor and said that Dr. Kasila Tofosin should start the cross-examination, which they started and brought about this whole controversy that you are talking. So they want to challenge that.
And so if the director can play the corresponding visuals,
yes,
so that we can see.
bench bank,
Yes.
ambulance case.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that is Richard Jakpa. So that is one. And then secondly, seeking the mistrial for the trial to be truncated.
Atoforsin is
Yes.
also seeking a mistrial.
Yes, for the trial to be truncated because of what has happened. And also seeking an order into the conduct of the Attorney General and the issue of the audio that has come up. And the judge will also examine the audio as per the supplementary affidavit filed previously. She indicated that. Then Richard Jakpa's own is seeking the charges to be dropped against him. So these are the four things that we are looking for. So the court will pick them one after the other.
Do we know if the Chief Justice has responded to Atoforsin's request for this case to be
Televised.
No, as of the time that I'm coming to the studio to talk to you now, I haven't
heard
got
anything in that
anything in
regard.
relation to it. And that also did not come up at the last court sitting. Maybe probably today when the case come up, we'll get to know more about whether or not there will be that request has been granted for a live telecast.
All right.
Today, it's going to be a lot of.
We'll look forward to it. So let's look at the Cecilia Dapa maid's case.
Yes.
Right? Which is also still in court.
Yes.
Let us not forget.
Many will be asking what is happening in relation to this. Until ambulance trial has taken over
Yes.
Yes,
the whole
yes,
thing.
yes.
And
So
so
Cecilia Dapa's maids are still in court.
So
Yeah.
this very case at 2 p.m. today, before Justice Marie Louise Simmons, Criminal Court 2, it will come up, and the husband of Madame Cecilia Dapa, Mr. Daniel Osekufor, will be in the witness box. He's done with his evidence in chief. He has been cross-examined by the first housemaid, which is Sarah Ej. They skipped patient Butcher because she was dealing with her lawyer at the time. So today, Benjamin Sowa, boyfriend of patient Butcher, and his lawyers will subject him, Madam Cecilia Dapa's husband, to cross-examination. So that is what we expect in relation to the Cecilia Dapa's maid issue and all that. So the trial is ongoing today. It will be a face-to-face with Benjamin Sowa, whom the man has said that he was one of the guys that worked closely with him until they discovered that they were stealing from them.
And then former second lady who was robbed.
Yes,
This case will also be in court today.
Madam Emisa, Matilda Emisa
Arthur,
Yaba Atta. Today, the court will sit. At the last court sitting, prosecution filed further disclosures. They have indicated that they are adding more. So today, the court is expecting that would have been done. Then case management conference will be conducted. And then all witness statements will be dealt with. The court will find out the mode, which witnesses are coming, what kind of language they'll be speaking, would they need interpreter, and all that. And once that is done, find out whether what the prosecution has filed, all the parties, the accused person and his lawyers have filed, and the court also have its docket. Those that the court doesn't have, or the accused person doesn't have, the court will make the order for it to be served. But once all of them are on the same page, then the court will fix a date for the trial to begin. So that's what we expect in relation to this very
that case
Yes.
today. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
That will
Today.
do for court today.
Welcome back to the show. You're still watching GH Today here on GHOne television. The reason why I'm smiling is because there are some interesting conversations going on behind the scenes, but you cannot be privy to that one. But yes, my guests are here in the studio this morning, and we've got quite a number of issues to talk about on the breakfast review. So the Electoral Commission has made a U-turn with regard to a decision that they made not to allow party agents to observe the voter transfer processes after the NDC had protested and had insisted that they were not going to withdraw their agents from any of the centers where voter transfers are being done. Of course, there was an IPAC meeting that was held earlier. There was a stalemate with the MPP agreeing, Kodio agreeing, the EC agreeing, but the NDC disagreeing. Later on, the EC said, okay, from yesterday, party agents can observe the process. But, you know, are the troubles over? Why did we even have to go through all of that back and forth? We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, the Vice President and the MPP flag bearer, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says that the answer to Ghana's road infrastructure problems lies in tolling roads, right? Lies in road tolls. That's what he's been saying. But it's interesting that this is being said when the administration that he works for decided that they were going to scrap road tolls. That is before the e-levy was introduced. And up till now, nobody pays road tolls. So what's happening? How do we reconcile the two? How do we move forward in that regard? You know. Meanwhile, the government says over 6 billion cedis has been paid to contractors, but some of the contractors are asking which contractors have received the payment. So these are some of the issues that you can expect us to discuss on the show today, of course. From the 1st of July also, utility tariffs are going to go up. So can consumers continue to shoulder the extra burden? All of this on the Breakfast Review segment. So my guests in the studio this morning, the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Wassa East constituency is here in the studio.
Yeah.
Yes, he's also ranking member Roads and Transport Committee. He's former Roads Minister as well. The former Deputy Roads Minister, the Honourable Isaac Ajayi-Mensah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm happy to be back today. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
So I'm always happy and glad to see you, and I've been enjoying your show.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're such a very nice guy. So I hope that today I'll enjoy your competence as well.
We hope so.
Yes.
We hope so. We hope that you enjoy it, and we're grateful, so grateful that you've joined us in the studio this morning. We're excited to have you. Also in the studio is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency. He's also Deputy Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, the Honourable Amidu Isaha Kuchinia. Good morning.
Good morning, Lantam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You look a bit different today.
How? Well,
in a very nice way.
I mean, this morning I got a message from my brother that one of my brothers has not been well. The last I went home, we took him to Wa, and then he was sent back for local treatment. Unfortunately, I'm told this morning he's passed, and it's a sad day for me. I mean,
condolences. Condolences to you. Accept our condolences.
Thank you.
Yeah. Honourable, my condolences.
Thank you, Honourable.
Yeah. And we pray that his soul rests
in peace. Yeah, yes. I mean.
So, and then
He's called Sato Muhammad. So maybe those listening to this, you know, we are live on my radio, so I'm sure he died this morning. So it's possible that some people in the constituency have not heard Sato Muhammad from Nabukwele.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we continue to say
that's a bad one.
And condolences to the family and condolences to you, Honourable.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we're also supposed to have Bernard Mona in the studio this morning, but he is not here yet. I believe that he's on his way.
Somewhere talking plenty.
I believe that
I'm
he's on
waiting
his
for
way.
him.
When he gets back, or when he gets here, he will definitely bring his input to bear on the issues. But let's cut to the chase straight away, shall we? Because the Electoral Commission has made a U-turn to allow party agents to monitor the ongoing voter transfer exercise. Earlier, they had issued a communique that no agent should be allowed. The NDC resisted, and now the EC has made a U-turn. But what was really informing the vehement resistance of the NDC in the first place? Honourable, let me begin with you. I'm pretty sure you're content, or should I say happy, with this U-turn that the EC has made with regard to allowing party agents to observe the voter transfer exercise.
Thank you so very much. And as usual, I will have to, draw the attention of our cherished viewers and people who are watching us, just to greet them, and the very good people of Asa East, who have permitted me to be here today and in Parliament as well, and the good people of Ghana. Particularly, my regards goes to the former president, the incoming president, President Mahama, and the entire NDC party leadership. So yes, I don't think that I will, like you say, I'm excited or whatever. It is our right. It is your right to be allowed that opportunity to observe, and that has been the tradition. It's not a new thing. So that's why we insisted. We didn't resist it. We insisted that we will be there because we were going to be there, and there's no law that prescribes that monitors, party agents are not to be there. It's been a tradition. We've been there.
But the EC has said that it's not a norm,
So,
and they just decided that to deepen transparency, they wanted that to happen, but because of the clashes and all of that.
And so the point is that the EC is there for us, and they are not there to do things on their own, whims and caprices. And so that has been the tradition. That has been the norm. And if norms become the practice, it becomes acceptable. And so we think that for purpose of transparency, we wouldn't allow that thing to happen. So the question is that why in the first place will the EC decide to request the people there not to allow party agents? Because there have been a problem somewhere. Fix the problem. And that is why we insisted. And so if they're back, we have indicated. If they're back again, the U-turn, that's it. But you see, it is important that we don't go into such dangerous areas. Let sleeping dogs lie. This is a very critical period. We are in election year. And 2024 election is so critical. Look at the challenges that we face in this country and many things. We think that this government has failed. And therefore, we need to get them changed. We are a credible alternative. And the only way we can do that, power democracy, is through the elections. So the position of the EC is so critical around this time. So when the EC flip-flops, this message of the allowance, not allowing people, the party delegates to be there, came from the EC chairman. And the vice chairman, and Bossman was the one who did right. Of course, if he does that, he does that for the head. So we have problems because of previous experiences. You remember during the limited registration, there were issues relating to basic arithmetics. If we had kept quiet, if we had not been diligent and very observant, it would have swept through. So we've been in government before, and the credibility and everything of the EC is known. So that is why we insisted that no, why this U-turn? We would want to be there. And Ghanaians will have to know. The president, the former president talked about it, and he's been vindicated. And so the party's position is that we will get our guys there. Our not that we are law, we are not abiding by, but we don't necessarily have to abide by irresponsible, directions. And that is why we insisted. It was clear that we're not going to listen or abide by, because it is uncalled for, and that is why. So why we said no, we will monitor. I did tell my people, because the party's position was that get your people there to monitor. And of course, I'm the ranking for Western region and members of Parliament, NEC. I did send a message to them and also to the PCs that be there, monitor,
You
be
told
vigilant.
them to be there.
Of course, yes.
In
Because
defiance of the directive that they used.
What defiance? The party has, the NDC party's position was that, guys, in order to ensure transparency, and that the basis for which we are there is about transparency.
But why were you so bent on being there?
Because
what had you seen that it was so important that your
there is
agents
every
be
justifiable reason to be there.
to monitor the situation?
I'll give you an example. That I know the way that if we hadn't been vigilant, diligent, the basic arithmetic on this limited registration, you saw it. So if we slept, if you didn't monitor, a whole chunk of numbers were going to be slapped on the system. And that is the basic reason, the trust. Of course, I don't want to go into, individual issues like the Duma Bossman, the deputy chairman, some of the comments that he passed in the past, that NDC is a threat to to our democracy. And that is not even the issue now. But the issue is that for the purposes of transparency, we need to get monitors there. And everybody will be okay, and we are good. At the end of the day, you accept the results and you move on. It is because of the fact that this period is so critical. It's not just any ordinary election period. It is the election period where the government is going to be voted out. The performance has been a challenge, problems all over the place. So Ghanaians are yearning for a change. And therefore, every election that to get into change or change leadership should be credible, should be fair, and it's something that Ghanaians are acceptable. And that is why we resisted. We insisted that we want to make sure that the norm be retained, and we did that. So we are vindicated.
And does it end there for you? Is it enough that the EC says, okay, now you can go ahead and do the monitoring?
No, but
is it enough
exactly.
for the NDC
what we
now?
expect the EC to do the needful. We'll continue to monitor and monitor diligently. Okay? So where there are issues, it has to be resolved. The EC has everything that it is in its court to come up with a meeting with IPAC or make an appropriate consultation with the party leadership and so on to resolve them. So the issue of Kaswa is, one of the issues. That must be resolved. You see, the reason why, among the reasons why we said we were not going to allow, because it was a hasty decision, if there are issues or problems in a location, resolve it. This is solvable. So why would you want to, on a blanket, comment or decision, we are withdrawing, we are not allowing, the monitors to be there, especially where they have performed their work diligently and the results following from the limited registration, work has been very satisfactory. So going forward, we expect the EC to be vigilant as well, do the needful, be cooperative, encourage and motivate, particularly the monitors, to do their work. And I think that should be good. You see, the reason why we think that it is unfortunate that those comments or those directives came was that things were moving on smoothly. We have just finished the limited registration with some challenges anyway, and NDC was vigilant and drew the attention. We know the handicaps of VC with all these missing BVDs and all those, but we still were diligent and patient. And please, wasn't it a very organized and satisfactory exercise that the monitors did? We did. And so if you are in the second stage of transfers, basically this is not the first time we are doing transfers. Mm-hmm. So why would the EC turn around and say, hey, don't allow any party agents? It was uncalled for. So I think going forward, the EC must be very careful not to create any perception of chaos that mistrust should not be there. And if EC will be transparent, will continue to be accommodating. I'm saying accommodating. I'm using that accommodating word reservedly. Mm-hmm. You accommodate within the parameters of the norm. What has been the practice? The best practice. The best practice well over, because we want to ensure transparency, is to allow agents, the party agents, to be there. And everything is free and fair. And so when that thing is done, you have all these observers and many things there. When that thing is done, there's no qualms. So going forward, we expect the EC to be transparent, not to come back again with all these directives. If there are issues, we go to the drawing board, discuss them, and we move on. And do you think that there isn't going to be any? I don't think that the EC, thought that there was not going to be any issue. As human institution and as we move on with ourselves, there might be one or two issues, but we have the capacity. Well, of course, as human beings, we must have the capacity to resolve those issues. And when they come, we resolve them. Mm-hmm. So that is the position now that we continue to observe. We continue to be diligent as we have. We continue to be, having the smart eye. And so we've enjoined our monitors to be diligent, to be very, very diligent, and make sure that in peace and tranquility, the transparency, is maintained.
Okay. Honorable Chinia, coming to you now. I mean, the EC has made the U-turn, so it's making people question. I mean, was it even necessary because of some isolated incidents for them to have even put out that communique in the first place?
Well, Lantam, let me say good morning to you and good morning to my senior colleague and to all those listening to us this morning, especially the people of Sisala East, my constituency. I think that the EC's reaction for me was not very necessary. Even though the NDC is also overhyping their insistence on the fact that there is something untoward to be done, or another political party is being favored by the EC's action. I mean, they continue to harass, intimidate, insult, and undermine the Electoral Commission, and that in itself undermines our democracy. For me, in the past, issues of transfer of votes has not attracted party agents. In the past, it has not been the case. And when Parliament itself passed the the legislative instrument for this to guide the EC, there was no provision for the EC to accommodate party agents. Unlike in the case of registration, where the same LI makes provision for party agents. But of course, to promote transparency and more accountability, if people are interested in seeing what you are doing, if you have nothing to hide, there is no reason you should say no. I mean, if I am doing something that is within the law and I don't have any intention of undermining anybody or doing something untoward, why should I shy away from public interest and public trying to know what I am doing? And so for me, the Electoral Commission, once they don't have any interest in doing something untoward, they should not shy away from allowing parties to observe. There's nothing wrong with that. And that was allowed from the beginning. I mean, when they started the process, political parties had their agents there. The Electoral Commission had no qualms. So if some people have misconducted themselves, I thought that the Electoral Commission should have dealt with the isolated cases of misconduct and not say that they are taking away, they are not accepting party agents anymore. That in itself creates a certain negative impression on the minds of people, especially people who are afraid that something untoward will happen. And so they shouldn't have, for me, they should not have done that because they have nothing to hide. You are not working for any political party. You are working in the interest of Ghana. You are a neutral arbiter who is supposed to make sure that there is level playing ground. And so if you allow political parties to come and observe transfers that are going on, and some people have misconducted themselves, deal with those who have misconducted themselves and let's move on. But for you to make a categorical statement that you are withdrawing all party agents and you are not allowing party agents or you are not allowing parties to observe, for me, was not necessary at all because it creates a certain negative impression that we don't need. I have always insisted that the Electoral Commission, it will be extremely difficult for them to support a party to win. If a party, you don't organize your campaign, you don't organize yourself well and work and present a strong candidate who has a strong message, who is able to convince Ghanaians, and you rely on the Electoral Commission, I mean, it won't work. The 1992 Constitution since coming to being in 1992, we have had change from the NDC to MPP and MPP to NDC. And that situation will not change. When it is obvious for change to occur, if you are a ruling party and Ghanaians make up their mind that they want to vote you out, nobody can save you. Of course, if you're also an opposition party and you don't deserve to win, like in this case, the NDC is not, my brother said they are a credible alternative. I mean, go out there, they are not a credible alternative. I mean, their flag bearer is a known quantity. He has been he has been vice president, he has been president. We have seen his performance. So, I mean, he's not a new person that Ghanaians already know him. And that is why this morning I was surprised when some people were discussing this Kumasi Technical University research that talks about maybe a party being acceptable and a candidate not being acceptable to be something. I mean, we have situations where an individual who is a candidate can be more accepted in a constituency or by voters than the party you represent. And the vice versa is also possible, where people like the party, but the candidate you bring may not be liked. Those dynamics are there. It happens. And I can tell you that when NDC elected former President John Mahama, I've always said that they could have done better, because you go out there, you talk to Ghanaians, they are not, of course, very happy about the economic situation. But if it is Mahama, they know. I mean, those impressions are out there. So for me, the Electoral Commission must make decisions that builds confidence in the system, that allow all the political parties to have confidence in them. You may not have a diabolic or a negative intention in some of the decisions, but the decision itself can create a negative impression on the minds of people, and we should avoid all that. MPP, we are ready, we are working, and with our visionary leader and with the things that we have done in the past and the things that we intend to do, we'll be the NDC to rate. It's not about, we want the Electoral Commission to remain neutral, but it's unacceptable, Lantam, the way the NDC and Bernard Mona and co keep attacking the Electoral Commission unnecessarily. It's not right. I mean, they should stop the unnecessary attack. It's not the best.
Okay.
I mean, and be careful the way you deal with latecomers. I mean, if somebody has come late, let's move on. We can't accept latecomers.
This one is below the belt. I think that I can't sit unconcerned without commenting on that one.
About latecomers.
Sorry?
About latecomers.
Anyway,
you are not there.
Bernard Bona is here in the studio. He is a member of the PNC. He's a presidential aspirant as well for the upcoming 2024 elections.
And he's my senior brother.
And he's joining the panel now. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sincere apologies for coming late. It's certainly unusual.
Apology not accepted.
Because the Honorable Chinia has never come to GHOne before me.
A lot of times.
All the time. I will be here.
You come to meet me. The last time we came here, you came and met me here.
All the time I'm here. And I'll even enter the studio. Today, somehow, I was drawn to go and do a short program at one of your sister stations. And I didn't know that it would travel because they told me that we'll end at 7. But when the conversations were getting exciting, they decided to extend it by 30 minutes. I sincerely apologize for coming late.
That is in order.
We have not accepted that.
That is in order. But let's thank you for joining us once again.
You know, today for the first time, he has put on a hat because he just experimented a red beret. He doesn't want to use the red beret, so he is trying to find an alternative to it. So I can appreciate that he wants us to recognize that.
This is just by the way. This is just by the way. But so let me bring you into the conversation, of course, talking about the decision that the EC earlier took and made a U-turn on with regard to allowing party agents to monitor or observe the voter transfer processes.
First, let me greet my 2 colleagues who stood in, even as I was away, for the tremendous job they have done. I was also listening on Facebook whilst I was coming. I will not go the tangent of Ochinia, but evident is that this electoral commission is a very lazy electoral commission. And they are drawing my brother, a very hard-working staff of the Electoral Commission that we have worked with for a considerable period, Samitete, into the fold of laziness. As I have said time and repeatedly, that when we were working with Afarijan, look, you wake up in the morning and Afarijan is in Poloma, right? Before you realize, somebody, Safo Kantanka, is in Rara. David Kanga is in Sankana. They are taking a tour, a physical understanding of the country that they are head of. Sule Amadu, they move to every corner. Said that if you are talking about a particular locality, and Afarijan is talking about that locality, he knows every corner of that locality because they have gone to do work. This Electoral Commission doesn't know who. So you see that some of the decisions they are taking, it is laptop or phone top decisions that they are taking. Because these days they carry offices on their phones. So that is the decisions they take. So you get Dr. Bosman sitting in Accra with Jane Mensah telling you that we should do registration at district levels. I have repeated that to do registrations at district levels, look, some of the people to move from one community to the other in his constituency, if you have to get to the district capital, which is in Tumu, you may take about 5 to 6 hours to get there. You'll be getting there probably to faulty machines. So majority of people who are actually qualified to be on the voters register, by the action of the Electoral Commission, are not able to go because they cannot travel, one. They don't want to be bashed by people so that they can be categorized that they belong to this. So they are sitting at home. After all, voting is not compulsory. Because if I don't register, will I vote? Yet it is the duty of the Electoral Commission to ensure that you compile a voters register. The compilation processes must be made accessible to everybody. So we have been calling on the Electoral Commission that at a minimum, you should do it at the electoral areas. You designated these electoral areas. There are just 6,272 electoral areas. Your budget has been approved by Parliament, and the Parliament did not alter anything on your budget. So why are you lazy to carry and conduct this exercise? And you put pressure. Now, when you put pressure on people, people begin to ask, are you not supporting us to come? So MPs and PCs are now compelled to go and support people to commute from one end to the other. When they go and convey them, then you say that it offends the law. But you don't know that by the manner in which you have positioned the thing, there's no way people can come, and yet you want to do a register. You have finished the limited registration. More than people that you said you were going to capture have been captured on the voters register. So all the time, the Electoral Commission underestimates the number of people that will be on the voters roll. That is not good enough. 2, you say you are now going to do transfer of votes. What is the qualification for somebody to be on a voters register at a particular place? The qualification is that you must have stayed there or you must have ordinary residence in that area for at least 5 years. Right? If you want to transfer to a particular place, you must have residence in that place. And you must show proof that you have been transferred from where you are. So if I'm a student and I registered at the University of Cape Coast, I have to show proof that I have completed University of Cape Coast and now I am in Sankana. So I want my registration to be in Sankana. Mm-hmm. Those should qualify you. Now we sit down and you see some of these fights that are taking place. Somebody is an MP currently in the constituency, but she moves from that constituency to come and contest in another area to become the parliamentary candidate. So sitting MP in the constituency, parliamentary candidate in a different constituency. She now wants to go to her constituency of origin to convey her family members who don't reside in this constituency to come and register. And you think that people accept? And when people begin to revolt to say, no, we don't know this person because you don't stay here, you don't work here, then there is confusion. I deplore, I disagree that, look, how Wakumsin's son, for instance, should suffer the fate he suffered. I don't agree, and I sympathize with the boy and the mother. But I don't think that it is right for people who don't have any relationship with a particular place to now move and come and say, we want to register there because we want to come and vote for a particular person and go away. And so when people are protesting, then the Electoral Commission gets up. and issues a fiat that is not grounded in law, by their own CI, it's not grounded, that political parties should not be at transfers. Transfers is part of the registration processes. Transfers is part, because what is contained in a voter's register is a registration. So if I cannot be there to monitor, who will challenge the eligibility of somebody to be transferred to a particular area? And in some of the places, look, 5 votes can make a difference. You know that. Mm-hmm. We used to have in fact, he's my chief, so I have to be careful. Titus Glover. He's Siambogna of Sankana. So when he came to parliament, he won by 3 votes. 1, 2, 3 votes. He beat Kempis of Osu Wari by 3 votes. So if you are able to transfer just 10 people into the constituency, given the same number of voters, you think that if the votes will maintain, and Kempis is the one who transferred 10 votes, he will not overturn the results the following year or the following elections. So it is the reason for which people are very watchful about these things. And I think that the Electoral Commission must know that their independence is limited. When you say your independence, the people who put you there, because we put the president there, the president appointed you. The president is not independent of us. And when you are talking about independence, what do you mean? That you are free to go and do things that are of no sense? No. You cannot be granted independence to go and do nonsense.
Very well. We'll have to move on to some other issues now. Let's talk about the issue of roads and what is needed in this country to deal with the road problems that we have. We don't have a lot of roads that are constructed properly. Now, the Vice President, who is on his Greater Accra Regional Tour, he's the MPP's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he says that the answer to Ghana's road infrastructure problems lies in tolling the roads. But then again, this same government is the one which is not tolling any roads currently as we speak in this country. Honorable Chini, on this one, I'll begin with you. Of course, you are avid supporter of the Vice President. Do you agree with what he's saying, that the solution lies in tolling the roads? Because even previously when we were tolling the roads, we still had road problems. And now we are not tolling the roads at all.
Well, the Vice President, who is the leader of the MPP, and by the grace of God, will be the next president of the Republic of Ghana. He'll be sworn in as president of this republic on the 7th of January 2025. I mean, he has been touring the regions to interact with key stakeholders, traditional rulers, the youth, the clergy, and then also goes to markets and other public places to interact with the ordinary Ghanaian, all that. He just ended his 15th regional tour, which is Greater Accra, yesterday. And so far, so good. His interaction with the traditional rulers has been outstanding, with the religious leaders, outstanding, with the youth of Ghana, outstanding. And, I mean, his vision is very clear on various sectors of the economy, what he intends to do. And he's listening and picking pieces from the interactions he's having so that he can enrich the manifesto and his vision so that when he becomes president, he can rule Ghana and make Ghana better than it is today. The vice president generally has made a very bold policy proposal, which includes roads, which I think every Ghanaian who wants Ghana's development should embrace. The taxes that we raise and funding roads and other infrastructure development from our taxes and loans is closing the physical space of our economy and making things difficult. So the vice president proposal is that we have to get the private sector to participate in building the needed infrastructure in Ghana. And when the private sector participates, you have to have a system of repaying the private sector with time so that you freeze government expenditure on infrastructure development. And he thinks with the participation of the private sector, we are likely to cut down our expenditure. I mean, if you to GDP by 3%, which will, in monetary terms, be about 30 billion Ghana cedis. And Lantam, can you imagine that we're able to cut down our infrastructural investment by 30 billion by allowing the private sector to participate in what the government should have been doing in the road sector, in the railway sector, and other sectors where you need the needed infrastructure for rest to make progress. So that is a general proposition, that we are able to allow the private sector to heavily participate in infrastructural development. And road sector, we all know, is one of the areas that we required a lot of infrastructure and a lot of investment. So the vice president is suggesting or proposing that we allow the private sector to participate. And when they participate, there should be a way of raising money so that we can pay over time. And one of the ways is tolling. Lantam, what I find difficult to appreciate from people who are opposed to the vice president making proposals, new proposals, and which they know are good proposals, but questioning why he's making them whilst he's the vice president. I find it very difficult to understand. I mean, a vice president is not a president. And every president or flag bearer who eventually becomes a president comes with a vision. And the vice president, you select a running mate to support you. And when you look at the Constitution of Ghana, all powers are vested in the president. Even cabinet decisions are not binding on the president. When you go for cabinet meetings, people can make all kinds of suggestions, but at the end of the day, the ball stops with the president. You remember President Kufuor, when he wanted Ghana to go HIPIC, he has told the whole of Ghana that at his cabinet meeting, all his ministers, including his finance minister, then Osafo Mafo, disagreed with Ghana going HIPIC. They had other options they suggested, but he, as president, at the end of the day, vetoed that. Yes, I have listened to all of you, but I am the president. The bar stops with me, and I want us to go HIPIC. And finance minister, go and prepare. Let's go HIPIC. So no two individuals in the government have the same powers. And so the fact that you are a member of a particular government and not the president, that even if you are the president and you are seeking another term, you can, as a result of your experiences as president, you can have different thoughts and different ideas as to what you should do in your next term if you get the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so it is weird and it is completely unimaginable when you see or hear people of sound mind, people who say they are intellectuals, saying that he's the vice president, why is he not doing that? Why is that? I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. The fact that he is the vice president does not mean that if he becomes president, he doesn't have his own vision for Ghana.
Yeah, but one would, and to that point, want to say that, well, I mean, since you are in government and you have the ear of the president, and the president, listens to what you say, you should have that level of influence to be able to get certain things done. I think that's the point that people are trying to make. Because if you remember, the president on many, many campaign platforms told us the reason why he's bringing Dr. Paula, because of his economic sense. And so if you are working with this president, you should have some level of influence. Because, I mean, we were here and the vice president announced that the finance minister is going to release monies for arrears to be cleared. Obviously, he has that level of influence. And the finance minister released money, nursing trainee allowances were cleared. recently, even before Korle Bu will start charging, will stop charging for dialysis, the vice president went and made an announcement that there's going to be free dialysis and all of that. So when all of these things are being done and the vice president is standing and claiming, these things and announcing them, it gives the impression that he has a certain level of influence. So will it be far-fetched for people to say, well, if you have this level of influence in the government, why can't you use that influence to get these things done while you are still in government?
So are you
that's fair,
by
isn't
this
it?
comment? Are you by this comment suggesting that Bernard is my brother? If I have influence on him,
Yes.
it means my influence is unlimited? Is that what you are saying? I may have influence on him.
You
Bernard may have influence on. I say my senior brother. Did I say my younger brother?
It's not possible to say that.
Please carry on.
I
Carry
say
on.
my senior brother.
Carry on.
Bernard, even though he's my senior brother, will have influence on me. But his influence has a limit. It's not everything he will say. He will say certain things I will accept. The others I will not accept. In every relationship, whether in leadership or wherever, there are limitations to your influence. There are arguments you make, you succeed. There are other arguments you make, you don't succeed. And once you are not the arrowhead, there are limits. It does not mean you don't have influence. There is no vice president in this republic who has not have influence on the president, but their influence has a limit. Former President John Mahama, when he was vice president to Professor Mills, he had limited influence. He had influence on the president then, or the government, but his influence as compared to when he became president are not the same. When he became president, he has the ultimate power. The bar stops with him.
Okay.
But when he was vice president, there was a limit. So I'm saying that the fact that he's the vice president, it doesn't mean he doesn't have a vision of his own. It doesn't mean he doesn't have policies of his own. And these are the policies he's proposing. That road toll, when it was being cancelled, are you saying that everybody who is part of MPP government accepted it? No. There were people in MPP who disagree with the cancellation of road tolls. But the argument was the amount of money that we're realizing for road tolls, we were not maximizing what we should be getting. And so we are now looking at implementing systems and putting systems in place that allow us to raise more resources through road tolls by having an automated system using
It was because of the
modern
e-levy.
technology.
E-levy. You said the e-levy was going to deal with all of these things.
Yes, that was the argument.
Yes.
But of course, it has failed.
Yes.
So if you're a leader and you even make a decision, the decision fails, doesn't mean that you cannot revise your views.
Okay. All right. Honorable Ajay Mensah, let me bring you in now. Of course, you are on the Roads Committee in Parliament.
I'm the
ranking member for the Roads Committee in Parliament. Surely the Vice President has a point when he says that tolling roads is the way to go, isn't it?
Thank you. So I think we need to be careful as a country. And we need to be serious as a people. We are certainly in bad times. Certainly in bad times. The economy is in problems. Look at the rate of the cedi to the dollar. And we don't know who is coming to save us. Salaries of employees are a challenge, and many more. And on your list, we have this PURC to increase tariffs. Unemployment is about the roof. Inflation is a major issue. We are in bad times. A situation where about 2 years ago, there was this COVID, and now this government is hooking everything onto the COVID. Our challenges to the COVID, and distant, far away, Ukraine war is also still a tag on them that, because of this, that is a problem. We are in bad times. My honorable member colleague is saying that when he hears people talking about the vice president, flip-flopping and running away from his position in relation to the economy and proposing new things that he could even start now, he thinks that, and he says it doesn't make sense. It makes sense.
He says there's a limit to the Vice President's influence. The buck stops with the President.
It makes sense. He has been with this President Akufo-Addo, for the past 3 times. You remember, one of the audios and videos that I watched, he said, and that is what exactly the president said, President Kufuor, during the time of President Kufuor, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, was the deputy in the Bank of, governor of Bank of Ghana. He supported Kufuor. And now he's running with him. He's going to fix the economic problems, economic challenges. Why did he say that? Because of his supposedly competence in economic management. That is why he decided to be with him. And he has been with him up till now. He is the head of the economic management team. The economy, managing the economy, the team, that the company, the so-called competent team managing the economy. He is the head. Is he saying that he talks to the president and the president doesn't listen? I think that's with all due. I choose my word carefully. Some level of ungratefulness in here. Somebody has to recognize your competence. He has recognized how good you are. Come and help me. And he's a lawyer. The president is a lawyer. And you have, you say you have, all it takes to make things happen. Then some people think that we don't have that right to question, especially in these bad times, when at any particular point in time, the vice president comes with new policies. I think the issue now is with credibility. And I expect people within the party now, he is the flag bearer of the MPP party, the ruling party, and the current head of the economic management team and the vice president. With all due respect, could somebody be talking to him and say that his position is different? He's trying to be a president. You remember when they were in opposition, and I'm very passionate about the road situation. Is that we don't need to, borrow money for our roads. We just toll the roads so blanketly, toll roads and build our roads. So simple. What did he do? He has since 8 years. When he came, the worst we could hear from him was to support the abolition of the scrapping of the road toll. He said he was going to build paved roads. He hasn't even built an inch of paved roads. And so when he supervised over the decision, because I had a economic management team, to scrap or to cancel the toll, we in Parliament, NDC had cause to complain about that. Why do you do this? The whole world over. America, the rich America, they all toll roads. Everywhere in this country, they toll roads. When you have issues with your tolling system, you need to bring sanity into it. And so we had issues. We talked about it. They illegally, they improperly, scrapped it. There's law, covering this toll thing. If you want to change it, do the needful. Just in Parliament, the minister who is a lawyer and a member of Parliament, just did that. And I remember very well, the Speaker of Parliament requested that, could you please do the right thing? You're an MP. And go through the process, MPP never minded. Dr. Bawumia is still the vice president. The many instances on the roads, the many instances and many others. Remember when, to the extent that when he was going around, he said that he was going to pay pastors and church leaders. He came back and said, oh, I was joking.
Well, he didn't say he was going to pay them.
What did he say?
I mean, he said we should be supporting the church because of the good work that the church has done or how the church has contributed to the building of society.
As far as
so if anything, you
should be paying them.
Even be. I mean, he later clarified that it was in jest.
He says he was joking.
Yes, he was joking.
So this is a person who wants to be the president, and he says, "Give me the steer." For which steer you've been given? MPP has given you the steer to steer the affairs of the party. I don't know, and you've given the steer, and you say you are joking. We are here in this country. When he said he has arrested the city, can you imagine? And has given the key to the IGP. Ghanaians are here. And that's why I'm saying that, with all due respect, people should be advising this in our vice president. Because he cannot be talking like that. We are in difficult times. Ghanaians are in trouble. We are worried. So then, all of a sudden, look at the cedis to the dollar. It's about 16 Ghana cedis to a dollar. What has he done about it? And that is the core of our challenge here in this country. We virtually import everything. And the so-called, the factories and the one factory thing, we are not seeing any value. And so this is the same person who goes around. So what is his situation? He says that when the fundamentals are weak, the currency the foreign
exchange
currency
rate.
exchange rate will expose you. Now, our fundamentals, economic fundamentals, are weak. It's very weak. That is why we are in trouble. The exchange rate is a problem. So what is Bawumia doing? So that you see, I'm hinging the point of credibility. We might begin to get him to be accountable. You just cannot say anything anyhow because you want power. My point is that you are still in government. So why are you not? Is it that he just wouldn't want to advise the president and he's waiting for another opportunity to carry on with his programs and so on? That is a worry. So the issue is about credibility. I don't think that we must trust this, the fragment of MPP, the vice president. He has no, iota of, no space to be trusted. I don't think we have to trust him.
Why?
How can you trust this person who said we don't go to borrow money to tow our roads? He comes into the government in his 8th year. He comes to abolish even the very toll that we had. You remember when the toll was...
But his position has remained the same, isn't it? Because before he came into office, he says we need to toll the roads. And he's maintaining that position even now.
He has not maintained. He abolished it.
But he's maintaining it now. He says He says that now we have to toll the roads.
He said what? He said
he works for the government that's
exactly
abolished it.
A vice president.
Yes.
He is the head of the economic meeting.
But then he's still saying the same thing he said before.
No, let's get things clear here.
We
are in bad times. We need people who are credible. We know people who are credible. You go here, I'll pay you. You go here, I'll do this. Remember, I'll give every household a toilet and many things. And nothing is happening, and nobody's questioning this. And he goes around ranting and telling people, I'll do this and do that. I'll come to the road sector. I'm so passionate about road issues. So I was elated when I was making those arguments during the time we was in position. Yes. So we need to improve our tolling system. And so why? Because they were introducing the e-levy. If you introduce the e-levy, why would you want to scrap the toll? So this is the head of the command meeting today, because he wants power. He comes back to Ghana and say, "Oh, our problems, our infrastructure problems will be solved by tolling roads." Who told him? What is his basis? We must question him. It's not true. The current tolling system, the revenue of the road fund. There's road fund.
Yes.
The road fund is supposed to be used for maintenance of our roads.
Yes.
Periodic, routine, and in rehabilitation of our roads. And the toll forms a significant part, very significant, anyway, about 6%. A chunk of our money for our maintenance of our roads that have been abused by this government is coming from fuel levy. So he must come. You see, I'm concerned about it because I'm in the sector. He's not credible. He says anything anyhow, and he must not be allowed to go free. What is his basis? What is the evidence to show that tolling alone will solve our infrastructure problem? It takes about 6% of what we have. Even if you can bring improvement in it at all, whatever it is, about 50%, that will not solve our infrastructure problem, road infrastructure problem. That cannot be true. But I'm challenging that. This is tolling all over the world. You toll and maintain the area that your roads are. In Ghana, we only have the highways that we about 28 toll booths that we toll. Urban roads are not tolled. Feeder roads are not tolled. So you're going to come to Parliament to get urban roads and feeder roads to be tolled because you want private people to come in. Let me tell you, so he knows. We don't have, all roads here have been, maintained and managed and constructed by private people. Government don't construct roads in this country. So which private people is he talking about? Government doesn't construct roads. In Ghana here, all road contractors, they are all private people.
No, I think. Can I?
No, let me finish.
Okay.
They are private people. When we talk about the PPP, you have been in government for about 8 years. You should tell me which of the roads that has been able to succeed in terms of tolling for PPP. No, nobody is coming in because of the economy. The extent to people will pay, the rates. So which of them? He has to come clean, and people should know. So the tolling element is just few, but whatever it is, we believe that in the first place, the toll booths shouldn't have been abolished anyway. And you remember when we talked about this, that the then minister said, "Oh, they will use the toll booth for regional purposes and so on."
It was just a suggestion.
Oh, thank you. But how could that happen? Highway, all our tolls.
So you are thinking through. And
Look, you are coming from Abidjan. Then you are in the middle of the road. Cars are stopping for you to go to the toilet. So this is
was
a
a suggestion.
government.
It was a
Thank you. This is a
suggestion.
government, but Dr. Bamia was there. So I think that we don't have to take him serious. He must come again, and because of it's about credibility. It's about credibility. So the toll thing, and as I'm telling you, it's about 5% or 6% to the total kitty. I'm talking about the road fund.
The entire
close
road
about
fund. Road
4
tolls
billion.
makes- yes.
Our challenge is that this government has decided to cap the road fund to the extent that what is paid to the ministry for the road maintenance is not even up to 30%. So if the government would decap it and make sure that the money, as we did, the money gets in there to maintain our roads. Our roads are not being maintained. In the history of this country, it is Bawumia Akufo-Addo-led government that has allowed our roads to go bad. Maintenance culture somewhere else. It is during his period. So please, Professor Dr. Bawumia, don't come there. You have no basis.
You've
You
added
have no
professor to
credibility.
his name.
Sorry, because you've been giving the lectures. There's no credibility in there. We are talking about credibility, and for the road sector, I need engineers. Talk to the engineer, they will tell you.
Okay.
Tolling alone will not solve our problem. It is about the fact that we need to ensure that, yes, we have maintained our roads properly. It's about PPP. People think that it is MOT, maintain, operate, and transfer. But MOT, it means that the government will have to invest in the road construction. Then allow somebody to come in. We can't even maintain, we can't even manage our tolling system. So he must come again.
Okay.
With facts, with everything, because he's not credible. Because of his credibility matter. The running mate, what they call it, he's no more longer the running mate. He's your flag bearer,
He's a
right?
flag bearer.
The flag bearer cannot be trusted.
Okay.
And many
Very well.
things.
Let me bring Bernard Mona into the conversation now. I mean, tolling the roads is a good way to make sure that we have proper road infrastructure, according to the Vice President. Would you agree?
Well, this morning, before I came to this show, a contractor that is working on the Winneba Kaswa Road, I'm told, blocked one of the bridges in order to do some job. And when the rains fell, there was no way for the water to go. So the water has taken part of the road away and actually gone to flood communities along the way. Where I said, such a contractor must be punished punitively. 2, the consultants responsible for that road must also be dealt with. 3, the supervising engineers must have their own share of sanctions, or they must be denied any supervisory road in the next 2-3 years so as to serve as deterrent. Because you know that the rationale behind constructing bridges is to allow free flow of water to allow the road to survive. Now you are going to do job and you watch the contractor to go and block the passage. You don't create a diversion or what I call a spillway, right, for the water to flow. And the water washes a major portion of the road away and further even goes to destroy people's farms and their homes. We cannot do this, and we cannot tolerate this. We are becoming too reckless. Our contractors, in most instances, are not living. Look, we travel. When a contractor has to do something on the road and is dusty, you know that there is part of the money in the contract that says that they should water the place so that the dust should not be. Go on the Insawam road and go and see the dust that people inhale. People have had accidents on that road because the contractor is not watering the road. You have taken the topsoil away, and the place is butu, butu, butu. So anything that enters, you see that people cannot see. I don't even know how to describe it. English is...
It's worrying. Yeah.
You know, this is what we go through. It's not acceptable. And yet we have supervisors. You have consultants who are paid to ensure that right is done. We cannot carry on that tangent and expect that something beneficial will come. I'm surprised the Vice President is still talking. Because when the vice president was in opposition, this formula was saying that, why? Why are our roads in deplorable states? That if you want to do road construction, you toll the various sections of our roads and raise money and use the money to do road construction. That has been the position of the vice president that many Ghanaians bought into. And you have the clips, you can start playing them. That where he spoke about tolling the various sections of our roads, make money, and do roads. He even went further to say that he was coming to do concrete roads. Concrete roads. And that they should give them the power. Look, you don't speak with such gusto. And when power is given you, you turn around and say you are a driver mate.
But he's not in charge.
No. No. On what basis will an apparatchik be speaking with such confidence and authority?
As a running mate.
That, like, as running mate, when you give us the chance and I become vice president, this is authority. This is what we're going to do. He asserted the authority of the vice president, the role he was going to play, and he was convinced that he was going to ensure that what he was speaking was going to be carried or executed. In any case, what the vice president was telling us was endorsed by the president. President Akufo-Addo said, this is a man who carries the whole world's sense. Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia okra ewiase nyansa nyina. I hope my tree is right. This is what the president said.
Where did he say that?
And that this vice president...
Allow him to finish.
You see, that's the problem I have.
There's a moderator here.
When I am speaking, you check. They make statements that they cannot support. They have no evidence, and you keep quiet.
I'm listening. He's speaking within a certain... He's speaking within
He said,
a
President
context.
said, Dr. Bawumia carries all the knowledge of the world. Did he ever say that? Where did he say
He's
that?
not saying that the president said that verbatim.
He said this so. He said, and
Where did
I
he say
quoted
that?
him in the tweet that he said.
Where did he say it?
The vice
It's
president...
not true.
Vice President
It's not
okra
true.
ewiase nyansa nyina.
Where did the president say that?
Well, I don't recall the president.
Where
saying
did
The
he say
president
that?
was
But I recall the president
Bernard,
saying
stop
the vice
these lies.
president has the vice.
He's
He's
a
bringing.
brother.
Oh.
He's bringing
He's a
in the
brother.
vice president because of his economic prowess
You see,
and
I don't
because
like
he worked
people
at the
who-
Bank of
who
Ghana.
are obsolete.
That's what I know.
I don't like people who are obsolete. We are
Okay.
behaving like Chinia. Chinia is
So give me the quote.
vice president. When they want power, and the vice president went on his 100 days and listed the number of projects that they have done, the successes that they have chalked. President Akufo-Addo came and said that Vice President Okita Inyurasi Nyansa Nyina
It's not true.
Akase.
Where bring your evidence.
But
You can't just make a.
Will
what
you do
is-
this to your senior brother?
Why will I listen to him tell lies? I can't sit there and listen to him tell lies. And Lantama, I have problem
Honorable
with
Chinia,
you see
allow
they
him to make
make
his
they
point.
make them
Allow him
even
to
when
make
my
his
colleague
point.
was speaking, he made a lot of statements that and you just keep quiet.
Allow him to make
But
his
But when
point.
I'm talking, you are
When you were talking, I kept quiet for you to talk.
Yes.
but he didn't
Well,
keep quiet.
I allowed you to make
You
your
are making
point.
statements that are not true,
Honorable
and he's
Chinia.
allowing you to go.
Honorable
Chinia,
because
I
you're the
allowed
senior
you-
brother.
Honorable,
Because you're
see,
the senior brother, you
I
kept
think
quiet.
I've been
That's good
fair.
of you.
I think I've been fair to
Oh
everybody.
no,
on
you
this
have
panel.
not been. You
I
have not
allowed
been.
you to make your point.
You have not been.
The only point I came in is
You have not
with
been.
regard to the
You always
comments
allow
of
Bernard and Co
the
to
vice
just
president saying that he's a driver's
tell
mate and what
lies
people
and
expect.
then you are just
Apart
allowed
Apart
them.
from
to-
that,
I think that
apart
on
from
a-
that, I
on a
allowed you
serious
to make
note,
your point.
I have
And
to
I think that I've
protest
been
that
fair.
you don't have to bring Chinia when I'm coming here.
But please finish
Yeah,
your point.
that would be better.
Yes, because
But
anytime
because-
Chinia is
please
here,
finish your point.
that's a more serious
Because of
note.
time.
Because
finish your
you bring
point.
two
Finish your
NDC
point.
people against one.
No, I
NPP.
cannot be NDC.
Honorable, please relax.
And
You
I
are-
have
You are
failed-
speaking for NDC.
This is
I
a serious
don't. I
this is a
have
serious
never
statement.
been.
want to
Honorable,
take in-
honorable, please relax.
I have never been.
Samona,
and I
please
think
make
that
your
you are
point.
with
not commented
respect-
on
Please
that
make
one.
your point.
No,
You have not
no,
commented on
let
that.
me,
Make
let
your
me,
point.
because this thing has been repeatedly said on this show. Let me make the point clear. I have not been NDC. I have chosen my political path. And you should respect my political decision. You don't have a right to credit me to where I don't belong. If I wanted to join NDC or MPP or any political party, I would have done so. From my schooling days,
Sounds louder than words,
from my schooling days, I have been a PNC. Why? When I was in school, you were not there. I formed the tertiary functionaries of the PNC.
You speak to the road tolls.
No, let me finish with you because you have been repeating this thing and then it is as if.
You speak to the issue.
So stop that thing. Now,
He's a junior brother, please. He's a junior brother.
thank you. So all that I'm saying is that this thing that the vice president has said is not new. He said it. He has the power now to ensure that they toll the various sections of the road.
He should do it.
What they did was to cancel and to abolish road tolls because in place of road tolls, they preferred e-levy. Has the e-levy, which was supposed to be ACOBAM, you know ACOBAM? ACOBAM, otiri ya oya, osin ya oya, osisi ya oya, onan ya oya. To which ACOBAM was the solution to all the problems. Because when we're even talking about food shortages, they told us that e-levy is the answer.
Who said that?
When we're talking about road, Amakwata came and told us that pass e-levy and we'll get money to do our roads.
Yeah, it's true.
Why are you becoming chorus?
Please relax
So
and allow
then-
him to make his point.
So then, question is, has the e-levy failed? If it has failed, why are we still paying for something that has not been able to do what it was mandated to do?
There's still some money that is coming from the e-levy.
I'm saying that, but look, e-levy was supposed to
These are the
fix-
projections.
I'm
that
saying
it's
that
coming.
e-levy, why? We told them it was not going to come. Long time, I slept rough in the frontage of Parliament. When Chinia is coming, instead of rolling down to see his elder brother, he will roll up. So we slept rough, telling them that this was a non-starter. But you see, these are our people. When you are telling them what will not work, they value you as an enemy. Today, reality has dawned on us. You are going around rehashing what you said that you could not implement, that road tolls are the solution to road construction. I doubt what the Bible say and what he will do.
All right. Yes, Honorable
You
Chinia.
have to,
I'll
because
give
of
you
have
two
allowed-
minutes to make the intervention you want to make, and then we'll move on to the next issue.
I think Dr. Baumia has demonstrated credibility because the statements he has made in the past, some of which we have not been able to implement, he still stands by those statements. So, I mean, I don't know what they mean by credibility. Dr. Baumia has spoken against e-levy in the past, isn't it? Before it was introduced. But what you should also know is that Dr. Baumia is not government, and government is not Dr. Baumia. He's a member of government. He's a member of President Akufo-Addo's government, and his opinion does not surpass the opinion of the president and members of the government. If you go to sit around the table to make a decision, and you express your opinion as an individual, at the end of the day, you are looking at the majority decision.
Okay.
And the majority decision is binding on everybody. In terms of tolling of rules, his opinion when we're in opposition is his opinion today. But if that has not been implemented by the government, it does not mean that he does not believe in it. It does not mean that he doesn't have credibility. Maybe the government itself has not accepted it. That is his personal opinion. So if he becomes president, he is the head of government. He has all the power to make sure that what he believes in the past, but could not be implemented under President Akufo-Addo, under him as president, he will implement them.
Okay.
So, I mean, let my brother not talk about credibility.
All right,
If it is
very
somebody who doesn't have credibility, it is former President Mahama.
All right. I think
He made a lot of promises
All right, Beryl.
before he became
you've
president,
made a point,
and for
Honorable.
4 years, he
So
didn't
let's move
implement
on.
a single one of them.
Let's move on to
He
the
said he
next
was going
issue.
to build 10
And,
training
on
colleges.
this one,
Did he
on
build
this,
one?
on this one, Bernard Monal,
Is that
begin with
credibility?
you. So from
John
1st,
Mahama doesn't
from
have
1st
credibility.
July,
He's
we're
the
going
one
to
that we
pay
should be
more for electricity
discrediting
and more for water. And of course, there is a certain adjustment mechanism which has to kick in every quarter. And that is what has essentially happened. Just that this time around, the PRC also says that due to the depreciating cedi, due to the high cost of fuel, due to inflation, they have had to do the tariff adjustments in the manner in which they have done it. But what has been said is that, well, it's a necessary evil, and the utility companies also need to be able to charge realistic tariffs in order to run properly. So should we be complaining too much if tariffs have gone up or are going up from the 1st of July?
I am sympathetic towards the utility providers, even as I am angry at government. And this is what I have said time without mentioning, that we set up these regulatory bodies. Government chose to set them up. That is, the National Petroleum Authority, for instance, is a regulatory body. The National Communications Authority is a regulatory body. The PURC is a regulatory body. Government set them up. And if you go into the archives, these were not in existence, and our nation was managed. When we brought in these regulatory bodies, we decided to relinquish the power of substantive appointees to these regulatory bodies. And we pretended that they were independent and that they can do what they want to do. So we are there, and the National Petroleum Authority, for instance, come up with a pricing formula. And that the price adjustments are done when we see that there is depreciation of our currency, prices of fuel start to go up. They are able to input, because government will tell them, add emission taxes, add pollution taxes. And so they will add it to the price build-up. And then they will come up with the S-pump price. When you come to PURC, government will tell you that, look, these utility companies have done A, B, C, D. On the basis of that, the cost is rising. And of course, everybody knows that when you have a terrible currency like the Ghana cedi, every day the dollar appreciates and the cedi depreciates. So therefore, as you continue to trade in hard currency, you go and buy material, you come, you do water provision, you do electricity, the cost in terms of cedi will go up. What we don't get is that whilst these things are going up and it's natural for you to do the adjustment, the salaries that you earn, all of you, is not pegged to the dollar. So our incomes continues to diminish and expenditure continue to accelerate and escalate. So your well-being is actually undermined by the increasing cost. Now, I have not said this, but it is an ex-vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Omari Wadia, who is lamenting why the PURC to increase utility tariffs at this time, and that it was a ploy for the utilities to ensure that the NPP loses the 2024 elections. It is the same utilities companies that in previous years and in various elections were doing what they were doing. In any case, who appointed the people in the PURC today? From the management, everybody was replaced by President Akufo-Addo, including Nana Yaa-Ajantwa. PRO was removed. And new people put there in the hope that they will do what will suit the MPP. But reality is confronting them that if we do what will suit the party, look, our utilities companies will kaput. ECG is in huge debt, you know. The MD has on many occasions cried out loud that why? They owe independent power producers. They need money to pay them. Institutions also owe them so much that they are not able to pay their suppliers. And so there is a liquidity problem that confronts ECG. If ECG will be operating at the same level and not increase these tariffs, then it means that their debt burden is going to be higher. They will not be able to pay their suppliers. And if they are not able to pay their suppliers, the doomsaw that we dread will even become worse off. Yesterday, I'm sure most of you experienced what was going on. Even in Konta in Wa, there was lies off. In Sankana, where they look, how much do we consume in the villages? Even in the villages, there was lies off. Yet we are told not to say that it's Doomso. We should say it's Doomsiesie. Well, I say that this is what one man said, that if you decide to say the lion is a vegetarian, the lion will use you to test his vegetarianism. We decided that Akufo-Addo and MPP are the best solution to our problem. Today, we have witnessed it.
Honorable Ajames, let me come to you now on this for the next 5 minutes. Yes.
And I want to quote the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Baumia, the vice president. He says, when the fundamentals are weak, your foreign currency will expose you. The fundamentals, the economic fundamentals are weak, and you're much weaker. Come on, with all due respect, there are some people in this country, particularly those in the private sector, who have their salaries pegged to the dollar. We call it indexation. It's index. So they don't care whether inflation this or inflation that. At the end of the day, they'll get their salaries. Majority, a chunk of our staff, particularly the ordinary workers, are paid in cedis. So their capacity, the purchasing capacity is diminished. So when you keep on doing this, it's a worry. So what I'm saying is that all these, like you're saying, all these officers in PRC and all those, Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, they are, the president appointees. They are making these decisions. So Ghanaians are here to see. I think that, you see, the government must be responsible in some reasonable level of managing the economy. At least get the capacity of the ordinary worker to be able to pay, even half. Now you are increasing this, and you see there are certain elements in this water bill and all those, like fire service and all those things. They are still there. And so if you increase it by 5% or 4% or 3%, they're just going up. I think Ghanaians will have now known that this government has failed. And you see, God do so. In spite of the doom so, this government is so insensitive, very insensitive to the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian. You want to increase it? Fix it. Fix the economy. So I think that, there are the people there. Nana Akufo-Addo appointed all the board directors and all those there, and they're taking the decision. You see, they believe that that is what they're supposed to do. But, on the ground, the masses of the people are suffering. So Ghanaians are witnesses to this. The doom so is all over the place. Now, that's not enough. Then you are coming with the purging of the PURC thing. I have some sympathy for the PURC regulators, but I'm told it's part of the IMF conditionalities that all those things must be done. But the point is that, hey, IMF said do this, but the people are suffering. The people are suffering. The city is now nothing. And so I'm not sure whether people will be able to use water. They will probably be going to the rivers and take water. And even some of the rivers too, you see that polluted with galamsey, many things. The gutters, most of the vegetables that we use around here is from the gutters. Because the guys cannot even afford the water. So we are in bad times. And the decision is that Ghanaians will have to make a decision, come in the next 6 months, to vote this government away. This incompetent, this irresponsible, this insensitive government, led by President, Vice President Baumia. So you just have to vote them out.
Okay.
So they'll be coming around and giving you, when I come, I will not increase. You come back, wait and see. I will not increase water bills. When I come, then electricity bills will, because he wants power. They have failed, and just vote them out.
Okay. Honorable Chinia.
Antem,
Yes.
for me, I think that it's a difficult situation because when prices of electricity and water increases, of course, it affects the incomes of the ordinary Ghanaian. It affects households. And it's not something that is pleasant. And so we must continue to work to resolve the issues that keep creating the problem. I mean, our energy mix in terms of relying on petroleum and gas to generate electricity and water is a problem. And that is why I'm happy that Dr. Baumia is proposing, having about 2,000 megawatts of solar power, and also taking away import duties on solar materials that come into the country, so that we can balance our energy mix, which will result in a reduction of the expenditure that goes with generating power and pumping water to people's homes. Once you reduce the expenditure that comes into production, then eventually it will also culminate in reducing the cost that is transferred to the final consumer. So this is what we need to do. But for now, I mean, it is better to have it than not to have it. But you see, what worries me sometimes, and people don't get it, when our brothers in the NDC talk, they have a record. They were in government between 2013 and 2016. The cumulative increment in electricity and water was 168%. It's unprecedented. It has never happened before.
You're in power.
Of course, but I am saying that the increment we are observing now is far lower than what we observed under President
The
Mahama.
Ghanaian workers worse off.
It doesn't
than
matter.
ever.
There is a record
Matters.
of. You have a record. There is the elections.
Ghanaian workers
Oh,
worse
listen,
off.
like, Master, keep quiet. Keep quiet. You are my senior. Don't do that. The election.
Keep quiet.
The election of
Will you
2024.
want to?
The election
Honorable,
of
please allow
2024.
Honorable Chinia to make it.
The election of 2024 is between. It's a choice between Vice President Dr. Baumia and then John Mahama.
Bernard Mona is here.
But where? Put away.
He's an aspiring
He's
president.
only accompanying them. Well, he's my senior brother. I'll be happy he's president, because if he's president, I'll just walk into his bedroom.
You are minister.
And-
You are minister.
But he's just
So-
accompanying them. The president the election is between Baumia and John Mahama. Now I'm saying that in spite of the fact that I agree that this increment will result in some difficulties for Ghanaians, but for my brother to say that calls for the NDC being voted into power, when their record of increasing electricity and water prices is unprecedented, it has never happened. If we were increasing at their rate, things would have been more difficult than it is. So their record suggests that what we are observing now, or what we are experiencing now, is still better than them. So Mahama is not an alternative at all, because his record is so bad. I mean, he was increasing electricity 17%, 22%, and cumulatively 168% in 4 years. It has never happened under any government. It's the worst in the history of Ghana. So how do you now come and replace this current system with that worst system? So I agree that things are difficult. I mean, Ghanaians are going through difficulties. But between the MPP and the NDC, MPP still remains the best alternative. The records are there. Your record is so bad.
All right.
And you talk about credibility.
All right. Very well.
We are the best.
You are
Between us and you.
Very well. We'll have to wrap
Your
up
records are so
the
bad.
breakfast review discussion here at this time.
The
But
doomsday that happened
but,
under
but
you.
Abona, before you wrap it up, just a few minutes, 3 minutes. I think you've sent a petition to Shraj, to investigate Cecilia Dapa.
Yes, we did.
What's up with that? Can you briefly tell us what's up with that in the next 2 minutes?
Oh, it's in relation to Chinia's former boss, who on her own decided to report a case of theft by her domestic staff, in which she enumerated the amounts of money and items that were stolen from her home, including $1 million, 350,000 pounds, 300,000 Ghana cedis, some jewelries, some clothing. The special prosecutor took interest in the matter and quickly launched an attack on Cecilia Dapa's properties in cantonments in Tesano and Atabelempe. When they got there, they retrieved huge sums of money.
Yeah.
And after they retrieved a huge sums of money, they, in their investigations, could not trace any bribery or corruption, but they suspected money laundering. In her explanations, she said that the huge sums of monies that were found in her room, only 800 belonged to her late brother, and that it is proceeds from her late brother's businesses. And when the report checked, the late brother's business collapsed about 15 years ago. And so it couldn't have been proceeds coming from a non-existent business. 2, that she took allowances from her private company, right? This private company, upon checks, also does not belong to her. It belongs to one Mariam Ewa. And so clearly, everything that she herself has said does not match to the issues that are at stake. And so we decided that we should petition Siraj to do further investigations to see whether there is issues of money laundering or there is issue of drug money, and 2, that the properties that she acquired, majority of them were acquired within the period that she became a minister. They should be able to get into the bottom of it so that we get to know. That is all that we have asked Siraj to do for us. Of course, yesterday Siraj received the letter. We are expecting them to respond officially as they have done in other cases, and probably to invite us, the petitioners, to give further and better particulars to the matter. And of course, they will deal with Madam Cecilia Dapa in the matter so that they can get a conclusion. At the end, Siraj will come out with a report, and that report certainly will be available for all to see.
All right, very well. So we'll see how all of that goes. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us in the studio this morning. I'm very grateful that you joined us. But let me say that for 15 years, Quick Credit has been your trusted partner in micro-lending, empowering lives and making dreams a reality. And today, we're excited to announce a new age. Quick Credit is now Bale's Microcredit. And Bale's Microcredit is still committed to serving Ghanaians and changing lives. Bale's is here to show you that everything is possible. So join us as we embrace a brighter future. Bale's, financing your needs. So that's it. Gentlemen, once again, I'm grateful for joining us here in the studio.
And house helps were taken away.
Very well.
This man remains a poor man.
Bernard Mona is presidential aspirant. Bernard Mona is presidential aspirant. He's a member of the PNC and also one of the lead members of Arise Ghana. Thank you very much for joining us. The Honorable Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency and also Deputy Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources,
Also,
Amidu Chinia.
parliamentary candidate for the MPP for the 2024 election.
Well, you're already the MP for the
I'm the
area.
MP. I'm the MP.
Yes.
But I'm seeking another term.
Seeking
always,
re-election.
Always add that because it's
very
important.
Well, very well.
And
very
Chief
well.
Adjutant.
So Honorable Chinia is seeking re-election to continue to represent
The good people of
the
Sisala
good
East.
people of the Sisala East
It's
constituency.
people like Chinia. These days,
And,
his media frequency is excessive.
The Honorable
Things are not going well. Your people are all running away. They are not communicating.
MP for Wasa East constituency.
They are not communicating.
Anyway,
It's too difficult
okay,
to
but
communicate.
before you go,
MP for Wasa East.
Yes.
Ranking
Member
Roads and
for
Transport.
Roads and Transport Committee.
Former
in
Deputy
Parliament.
Minister for Roads and
Former
Highways.
Deputy Minister for
That's
Roads and
important.
Highways. Very, very important.
And
Then you are
former
contesting
Daniel
again.
But what do you make before we go?
contesting?
Before we go quickly, what do you make of the
you are
recent
not going
polls, which suggests that Vice President Bawumia is ahead of President Mahama?
I'm yet to read, but I'm told that the owner of the lead team
Yes.
member was once an MPP candidate. So given this background, I need to read further and add some reasonable comment. But I think that if it is coming from such people, then you want to be careful when you comment on them. I will do that comment at the appropriate time.
So at this point in time, you don't.
Yeah, but it's coming from somebody who is an MPP. That's what I'm told, and I need to verify. Are you aware that the lead person of this organization is an MPP, pre-MPP candidate? Are you aware? And so, around this time, all these will come. We have credible organizations and institutions that when they come up with polls, that they have that credibility.
So you don't trust Professor Smart Sapongs. He's the director of research and innovation at the Kumasi Technical University.
That's what I'm told that he was once, an MPP candidate somewhere.
Okay. Yeah,
I
but
just
he's
want
a
to find
credible
out.
guy. I mean, he's also an associate professor of statistics.
You are not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a person that I'm told that within this time, so many things are coming up. He was once an MPP candidate.
Okay.
And so if he's doing this at this time, we want to find out, whether there's some credibility in that one. We are dealing with credibility
Yes.
with the Baumia and all those.
But he has the pedigree to be able to do it.
Sorry.
That's why I was.
Nobody's stopping. But around this time, do you think that I need to confirm that? I think that he probably hasn't got that
So you want to
the
see
credible
it.
capacity to say this. You know?
Honorable Chinia, yes.
Lantam,
Very briefly.
there's so much hypocrisy from our brothers from the
So
NDC.
you are joining me that way?
There's so much hypocrisy.
What's the hypocrisy?
You see, when Info Analytics did their research
A credible-
on this program, I have insisted that I think that it is worth listening to them and studying it. Nobody should downplay it, isn't it? On this platform, Musa Dankwa, even by his own comment, it is clear that he's NDC. Go to his Facebook wall and see the things he writes. He's doing politics. He's the leader of Info. But
say it.
Yes.
Who's stopping you to say for saying that?
I will not, but I don't downplay.
But I will say yours.
What I'm saying is that I don't downplay any post that comes. I'll look at what is good, what lessons I can. Oh,
That is you.
Just keep quiet. Keep quiet.
You see, you have mentioned me and you don't want me to.
So, I mean, what he's saying.
So you agree with the polls? Or no?
Not exact. I mean,
No.
it should be a guide. Posts are a guide. It's not you don't take it hook, like a sinker.
Okay.
I mean, but it should guide you.
Okay.
To improve certain things. I mean, but the way Bernard and Co are throwing mad at the thing that they don't.
But he hasn't even spoken about
But
it.
I've listened to him this
He
morning
hasn't
on Joy
even
News.
spoken-
I
well,
listened
on
to
this
him.
platform, he hasn't spoken about
But
it.
I'm saying
on this platform.
So let me finish.
Finish.
What the man has done.
About to finish.
What the man has done.
has nothing
There
to
is
offer.
there is one
You
thing.
learned.
There is one thing that he has confirmed for me.
What's that?
My belief is that even if NDC is credible, but the worst decision the NDC has made is to make former President Mahathir a flag bearer.
Okay,
Because he said
Bernard,
discredited.
let me hear from you.
I haven't finished.
Briefly.
He said discredited
No,
candidate.
but I need to come to Bernard because we're
And
out
the,
of time.
the
Very
polls
well.
actually
Briefly.
proved that the NDC is more
Mr.
popular
Mana,
than President Mahama.
Mr. Ma-
And
Mana, let me
Baumia
come
is
to you.
preferred to
Yes.
John Mahama.
Briefly.
And
Mr. Muna.
that is the case on the ground. And Mahama is, what is it? Baumia is going to beat John Mahama.
Okay.
I believe it.
Okay. All right. Very well.
The people that
But did they mention Bernard in the polls?
No.
the people that are
Bernard and Co, there are others. There are
Honorable
others.
Chinia, please.
Will you
There are
let me-
others.
Let him make his
Bernard
point.
is part
Will
of
you
the
keep
others.
quiet,
please.
Minister? No,
Bernard is, no, I'm saying Bernard is part of the others.
Why you are not
Thank you.
allowing him
The
to make
others
his
is
point?
0.1%.
that. Thank you.
You are part of the others.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, my
So
brother goes
what-
so low.
What it means is that the people who are NDC will not vote for the NDC candidate,
That is not what it means.
and that whilst the NDC is very popular,
Not very.
the
Not very.
vice president is preferred as president of the Republic of Ghana. That's one. Number two, if you read the story from the various newspapers, this is said to be a professor from the Kumasi Technical
That is not his
Technical
first
University.
research. Oh.
The
2020 he
Kumasi-
did one.
Minister,
Honorable
will you
And it
keep
came
Chinia,
to
quiet?
pass.
please allow Bernard to make
the
his point.
Kumasi
Nobody is
Technical,
rejected when you
the
make
Kumasi Technical
He did.
University.
Minister,
He did.
will you
In
keep
the
quiet?
Kumasi Technical University, then Daily Graphic published that he is a political science lecturer.
Okay.
Now, a political scientist at Kumasi Technical
The paper
University.
can get it wrong. It's not everything the paper say that is true.
Do you understand?
Don't hang on that one.
Thank you.
Don't hang on that one.
Number three, Daily Graphic of all newspapers decided to make this story their banner headline.
Info analysis, they made the banner highline. You didn't complain.
Hey,
That is
Honorable,
why I
will you
keep saying
comment
are-
on
you are not correct.
everything
Bernard,
that he says?
Bernard, you are not correct.
Bernard, Mr.
Daily
Mana, please
Graphic.
finish your
Will you
point.
bring the minister to order, please?
Daily Graphic
It's
of
having
all
family
decided to
discussion.
go and take an individual work.
It's not individual work. He's
Honorable
the-
Chinia,
he's the
please.
head- he's the head of the
Honorable Chinia,
organization.
can you please turn off
It's just like
Honorable
Musa
Chinia's
Danko.
mic?
Musa Danko is the head of-
Director,
Don't
please
do
turn off
that.
Honorable Chinia's mic.
Don't do that.
Your mic is off.
Musa
Bernard,
Danko
please
is the
make
head of
please,
Info
please
Analysis.
make your
He's
his mic
being
is off.
violent
He's also
on
head
me.
of-
His
Pushing
microphone
me.
is off.
Pushing me.
Don't mislead people. Don't mislead
So,
people.
junior brothers respect.
And I respect you.
They don't do. They don't misbehave. Your level of misbehavior this morning is at a
Bernard, please,
crescendo.
we're out of time, so you just have to finish the point.
So my point is this:
Yes.
that whilst me, I don't take polls for granted, because polls serve various purposes. One, it says that the A political party is popular, but another political party's candidate is preferred to be president. So it gives an opportunity for you to work on your candidate so that your candidate can match the popularity
Of your party.
And the people's wishes. So that gives you a positive edge. Number two, it tells you that the MPP is not popular, but somebody is popular than the MPP. It also gives the MPP the opportunity to work at what has made them to lose so significantly. Number three, me, that is categorized as others. I have to work in order that I am not categorized as others any longer. Do you understand? So if I don't have people like Chinia, who are parasitic in their nature, always drawing back, certainly we should be able to improve.
Okay,
So yes,
well.
look, no matter how you look at it, there are lessons to take from it.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Your minister was, your minister made so
We have
much
to wrap
money.
up
You are
now.
sitting here.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Come up next, we have another conversation with Dr. Kwame Asiedu Sapong. It promises to be a very interesting one, so you need to make sure that you stay tuned in for that conversation. But this is it for the Breakfast Review segment. Stay tuned. We'll be back.